Hi, Ed Bixby here from the Global Green Burial Alliance with Spotlight Now with my co-host Gretchen Spletzer. Gretchen, would you like to introduce our guest today?
Yep. Hi, we are here with Alexis McCurdy, and she is co-owner of Green Farewells down in Las Vegas, Nevada. And she's also a funeral arranger, and in her funeral home, she has a aquamation machine, and we are here to interview her and hear about her business and all that good stuff. So, hello, Alexis.
Welcome.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I'll just tell everybody out there I've been following Alexis on Facebook. I'm not too much of an Instagram person, but been seeing her really positive posts about her business and just the excitement around the offering that she can provide for her community with the aquamation and more um, sustainable way to, you know, do burial. So we're really excited to talk to you, and I wanted to kind of start and hear about how you guys, like, why you wanted to start this business. Um, what got you motivated to do that and to get the aquamation machine?
Yeah. Thanks for the question. So we actually kind of fell into this business. So my husband and I, so we're the co-owners. Our background is actually in technology. So digital product management, and then my husband's background is in information security. So we got a really robust experience in technology, and we were actually working for Nike. And we had a year of just a lot of loss. So we lost a couple people that were really close to us. And that was really our first time where we had to make our own arrangements, right? So we're millennials, older millennials, but millennials. So it was the first time we had really had to own making arrangements for our loved ones. And what I will say is it shocked us a little bit. I think that, I always tell the story that I could tell you with confidence at any time where your shoes were or where your pizza was, and I had a really hard time knowing where my loved one was, right? And that was a shock for us
Yeah.
of the gaps in expectations as a new consumer, maybe coming into making arrangements for the first time. And I had certain expectations that I didn't necessarily see translate to me as the millennial. I would expect it on my phone to know where my person was at any time, right? So that really inspired us, and really is what set us on our journey of, wow, can we take these things that we know, and know really intimately, and bring them with us to create an experience that may help other folks like us coming into making arrangements for somebody that we love and seeing that there might be a gap there. So we kind of went down this journey. And then we fell into aquamation for a few reasons. One, Nevada has the highest rate of cremation in the country. Most people don't realize that. Las Vegas in particular, it's a very transient city. So the cremation rate, I think as of last year, is over 80%. So when you think about the amount of cremation that happens here, and that it is pretty much double timed, if you will, well, now we've got maybe an environmental crisis, right? As we start
Yeah, yeah.
thinking about how much greenhouse gas we're putting into the atmosphere. So as we started on this journey, we knew we wanted to work in cremation. We knew that that was something that made a lot of sense for us personally, but also how might we serve our community and be thinking about, are there other ways? Are there other methods that are healthier for the community and the planet as well? A lot of people aren't realizing you're choosing cremation because you think it's more environmentally conscious, and it creates 550 pounds into the atmosphere at the same
Yeah, people
time.
don't realize that.
People
Yeah.
don't realize that. So
Yeah.
we really sought to bring kind of our own passion together, and also the data that exists, and make a really comprehensive plan of, here's how we think we can serve Nevada. Here's how we think we can serve Las Vegas in particular. And the city was very, very welcoming to us, actually. They were very good partners with us, very good partners, even in the architecture of how we would do our design. So it's been welcome. It's been a welcome experience for us, but we kind of fell into it from our own personal experiences.
Yeah. Those are
Wow.
all great reasons that you got into it and so needed, clearly. I didn't know that about Nevada, but it
Hmm.
makes sense.
Hmm.
And what's so most interesting, Alexis, is that, what I find in recent history is that many of the new pioneers and innovators within the funeral industry itself are people who kind of fell into it, people who had maybe an experience that didn't live up to the expectations that they had desired, and they decided to get into it and make a difference. And that would bring me to a very poignant next question that a lot of the viewers would like to know is that we know that aquamation certainly is more of an environmentally friendly process, but explain to us how your families feel about it when you offer this and what their experience might be.
Yeah, at first they don't know it exists. So usually how we present it to families is you have the right to choose. Our job is to make sure that you knew you had options. So that's kind of the first thing, is making them aware that options exist. So usually they don't know it exists. And then when we tell them, about their choices, and they have a lot of questions around end result. So do I still get ashes back is probably the next question that they get, because they have an experience in their mind of what cremation is and that they're going to scatter ashes. So usually I address those two things together of, you have options. So my job is to make sure that you knew that options exist. And then second, I want to educate you on where they are the same and then where are they different. Your end result is going to be the same, but you might care about the process to get there. So once we get in that frame of mind, then it truly is on the family. I've had quite a few families that started with, no, we just want traditional cremation, which is totally fine. And then as they've started to maybe even come back to the conversation of, wait, tell me more. Wait, what does this mean? I do always give families data of Nevada has the highest rate of cremation in the country, just about right now. And so when they have the data, well, then they're making an informed decision. So right now, our families are probably curious. They don't know it exists. They're excited that somebody told them that these options exist. And then it opens up the door to a lot of, I feel like they ask me a lot more questions. Well, wait, I heard now you can be composted now. How is that different? So it opens up a relationship, and then I think a dialogue that maybe they haven't been able to have with somebody before. So it's been really well received. Again, we don't push it on people. We do make sure that they know they have options. And that usually is what leads to, well, how does it work? Do I still get ashes back? They want to kind of go through those stages. But then once they have the data, then they're making decisions based off data versus just a feeling in that moment. And that's important for us to make sure they have facts too. So when they
Yeah.
decide, they have a balanced decision and no one feels pressured one or the other way.
Yeah, while you were saying that, I was thinking about, when you're having to make that decision and you're already just have in your mind cremation and the emotions are high, it's so great that you can take, they can come to you and you can take the time to explain their options to them. Does it sometimes, is it the next day that they come back and say, well, I've been thinking, tell me more about aquamation, or do they know it's right
Yeah,
away?
I have some families, I would say most of my pre-planning families, almost all of them choose aquamation. I don't think I have yet to have a person that is pre-planning, especially for themselves. Even my families that come in and pre-plan together, which has been a interesting phenomenon. We see grandma, mom, and grandson come in together to have a conversation, which I think has been exciting. And they all talk about aquamation.
Yeah.
My at-need families, there are some that immediately say, yep, I want to be cremated by water, because that's just, it's exciting to them. They read it and Googled it themselves. My other families that are at need and kind of weighing between the two, it is usually around maybe the second or third day, they might ask those, like when we're waiting on the burial permit. So in Nevada, another piece that's important, in Nevada, aquamation is cremation. So different states do that differently. Sometimes alkaline hydrolysis is cremation in Nevada. So it doesn't change in terms of permitting per se. It's just kind of what your preference is. So they're not necessarily locked in anywhere. And we tell them that too. You don't have to make any rash decisions right now because alkaline hydrolysis is cremation, right? Like it is cremation in Nevada. So if you need to talk about it or you want to talk about anything, so usually it's about day 2 or 3, they might start asking more questions. Another piece that I have seen is, since so many people choose flame cremation, something that has happened is, well, the families feel like maybe it's a long backlog, right? Of, oh, how long is that actually going to take? Or they had an experience. I didn't get my person back for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or some sort of experience they've had. So they have a little bit more confidence knowing that it's a shorter backlog. It's not as well known in terms of so many people demanding it. So if that's important to them, or they're here for a short time and want to take their person on a plane, right? I'm hopping on a plane to take these ashes back, etc. That has factored in too. So it's a variety of different reasons, but since it is cremation in Nevada, usually they're not locked in immediately to make some sort of decision. They can kind of think through it, and that's been helpful.
Yeah, I would think so.
Let me ask you this, Alexis, because I think, it's important to know. You had mentioned earlier, prior to our interview starting, that the experience itself not only was environmental, but the intimacy of that actual experience seemed to appeal to your families. Do you have any special memories concerning any of these that transpired, or what is the consensus when it comes to the different level of care when a family can be maybe a little more involved in the process?
Oh, yeah, I want to know that too. Like, what does that look like? Do you have like, are they there when the body goes, when the machine is turned on? Do you have ceremony before that, or what is that like? Because I was looking on your Facebook, I saw the space that you were getting ready. It
Yeah.
looked like to have that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So we're a direct cremation facility. So we're not a funeral home. And so what has happened, my opinion, what has happened is people feel like when they're choosing cremation, they don't necessarily get that full experience anymore, or there is no space to grieve, or it's more transactional, right?
Absolutely.
Versus an
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
So what has become a little bit more profound with us is kind of twofold. So we offer alkaline hydrolysis, and then another really important part of our business model is transparency. So we are Keep Track certified. And so basically we have a technology and in our software that we use where a family can track the stage of their loved one at any time. And so because it's a more one-to-one, it's a longer process. It is in-house in our facility. We're seeing our families be engaged in their portal. They're being engaged and chatting with us because we have a live chat. How is mom? Where is mom? Where they feel empowered to ask those questions, because for the most part, it is us. It is our team that's actually collecting mom and caring for mom. And they met us and they're talking to us, and we're those people that are collecting papa, etc. And so
So you mean like you can tell them what stage you're at in the
I
process?
can tell them what stage they're at in the process, because the process is different. So there's, the actual alkaline hydrolysis portion, but
Right.
then we need to dry and all these pieces. And so they feel more connected because they've met us. It is a little bit of a longer process. So they're actively asking questions. They're engaged in it, which seems a little morbid, maybe. But this consumer, especially if we're talking about the younger folk helping out mom for grandma, right?
Mhm.
Are very engaged in this. When you think about a lot of the popular TikTokers now, or a lot of the popular social media influencers, you have very prominent social media influencers in the funeral industry. And so there's a expectation almost that I saw this on X very popular influencer, and I'm going to ask you, Green Farewells, what does this look like? So that's been really interesting for us. Um,
Yeah.
I would also say that, you know, for us, because we designed it this way, so we are direct crematory. Our facility is only 886 square feet on purpose. We were low overhead. It feels almost boutique, right? So the way that the families are approaching us are a little bit more concierge and boutique, and we talk a lot and they follow up and they've got questions. So you think about lifetime value for cremation, this is different because they're engaging with us much longer. I have a family now, well, we want to do living urn and we want to plant a tree now. And how do we do this? So it's just keeping that relationship longer and more deeply that you probably would have at a traditional funeral home. And now it's bridging into this direct cremation space because the tech is different, the possibilities are different. Now we're able to connect on a different level, and it's exciting.
Yeah, it
Well,
really is. I
well,
love
we
all that.
must say, Alexis, that the Global Green Burial Alliance appreciates all that you do and what you have to offer to the residents of Las Vegas. We commend you on that. And how can our viewers find out a little more and possibly be able to reach out and see or learn a little more about what you're offering?
Yeah. And again, thank you for having me. Our website is usually best, greenfarewells.com. We have a live chat feature, which has become super popular lately. But I definitely encourage folks. Our website has probably the most updated information. We've got a blog, our live chat feature. We're also spend a lot of time on Facebook as well. So any of those means and medias makes a lot of sense. But if you want to engage with somebody directly, you can live chat us. It will go to somebody directly on our team. And that's always been pretty good for folks to ask those one-off questions that they might not want to call for yet. But we definitely encourage transparency is how we run our model. So if you've got anything and everything, we're happy to answer and be a resource to the community.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I'm so excited for this because I feel like things are changing a lot and you're creating a really safe place for people to ask questions and learn more and talk about death and have more hands-on with their loved ones, which is I think the most natural thing. And that's why they do ask so many questions. It's hard to let go. You have to let go in little bits at a time. And I just really commend you for opening that space up for people. It's just wonderful. Thanks.
Thank you. It's definitely needed. We're glad to fill that gap and excited to be that resource. Like we said, that it happened to us. And as we have these really awesome planning meetings with grandma, daughter, and grandson, it's just been very eye-opening and humbling for us to talk to all three generations and
Mm,
make sure all three generations understand and are comfortable with their care. So that's been really, really cool for us to see more
yeah.
folks in my age group participate in these conversations, plan for others, but also start to think about it for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Because as a society, we just went through a really traumatic thing where we lost a lot of people. And I don't think very many people were very prepared for that. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, we do appreciate you, Alexis. And for our viewers, if you haven't become a pledge member yet, please become a consumer pledge member. And if you're a provider out there, certainly take advantage of what the Global Green Burial Alliance has to offer. So thanks again, Alexis. We appreciate your time.
Yep.
Thanks for having
Thanks,
me.
everybody. Thank you, everybody.